how are you? So today I am talking about maca powder. Maca powder is a wonderful root vegetable. It's grown in the Peruvian hills at high altitudes, so it's got lots of nutrients. It's got alkaloids, it's got glucosinolates, it's got lots of amino acids, it's got calcium, and because it's grown in those harsh conditions, it's actually got lots of anti-nutrients, which are good for conditions like cancer, but bad for things like thyroid. So it's just good to bear that in mind. In small amounts, these anti-nutrients can be beneficial for us and they can help with things like cancer, but not all the time. So maca powder, who is it good for and who is it not good for? Well, we know that when people take maca powder, there is a lot of anecdotal evidence that maca powder increases energy, maca powder increases libido, it helps with virility, it helps with muscle mass, helps feel great, helps with depression. So we know that from anecdotal evidence, but when we look at the research, what can we actually see and what is happening? So with maca powder, a few different things have been noticed from many different studies. There's human studies and there's mouse studies. So I'm just going to focus in on there have been some mouse studies done where it's been shown to increase fatigue, increase energy, but I'm just going to focus in on a few studies that have been done on females. One in particular was done on menopausal women, and in this study it showed that taking maca powder of 2 grams a day for 2 to 3 months helped to decrease symptoms of night sweats, anxiety, and sweats during the day and hot flushes. What the blood showed before and after is there was a significant increase in E2, a significant increase in progesterone, testosterone, and a decrease in follicle stimulating hormone. And it is follicle stimulating hormone that is one of the main stimulating hormones that causes all these negative effects. And we know that when women go through menopause, their follicle stimulating rises and rises and rises and rises, and then this is what suppresses the ovaries. And it's this rising of follicle stimulating hormone that can really cause these symptoms. So, if that being said, we know that maca powder is really great for women who have very low hormones, maybe amenorrhea, also menopausal, postmenopausal, women who are struggling to produce their own hormones, who have low testosterone and low estrogens. It can be really beneficial. But when is it not beneficial? Well, we know that maca powder increases E2, which is good if you have low E2. But what if you have estrogen dominance and you have low E2? E2 is estradiol, but you could have estrogen dominance with the other estrogens. You could have high estrone, you could have high estriol. So if you take maca powder and you raise the estradiol, which is E2, and you haven't fixed the problem, what can happen is it can funnel into the other estrogens and it can actually exacerbate your estrogen dominance. So you have to be really careful there. Another thing is, if we know that it raises testosterone, and you know that you've got sensitivity to androgens, you know that you have lots of sweating, or you have smelly BO, or you have acne, or you have hair growth on the face, or you have skin tags, elevated insulin, elevated blood sugar related to androgens, then there is a chance that maca powder won't be right for you, and it can actually exacerbate those symptoms as well. So if you've got anything like polycystic ovarian syndrome, you need to be careful. If you have anything that's related to estrogen dominance, like endometriosis, again, you need to be careful, because if maca powder is going to pop your estrogen up, your E2, this could have a knock-on effect with the other estrogen. So just be very careful with that, and know that you can have low estrogen symptoms, low E2, but you could have estrogen dominance because your estrone and estriol are high. This happens in stress. So when we get stressed, our estradiol is converted into our estrone, and then that is what triggers fatty tissue buildup. So just understand that stress is a biggie here. Other studies have been done, and what maca powder has been shown to do is it's shown to raise DHEA, and it has been shown to inhibit cortisol. So it can work really well for those early stages of stress, those really early stages when you haven't lost all your hormones, but they're not all sky high. So it can work really well when you're in that mid-range of your adrenal dysfunction, where your cortisol might be at an elevated range, but your DHEA, due to stress over time, has dropped. down a lot. When your DHEA drops down, that is a good indication that you've been going through this kind of adrenal fatigue and you're midway through. Normally in the early stages of stress, and when you're working really hard and you're feeling great and you're kind of going along with things, but you're getting awfully stressed, your DHEA and cortisol are normally up here. And so what happens over time is DHEA drops and then sometimes cortisol drops. But when they're like this, maca powder can be indicated because it can boost your DHEA and it can bring your cortisol down. Another thing that maca powder then is good for can be fertility, because infertility can be driven by low DHEA, sometimes low estradiol, and sometimes low progesterone. So once you've had your hormones checked, especially if you're trying to get pregnant, and you see that kind of hormonal pattern, maca powder can definitely be indicated for you to support your preconception care. Now, I mentioned earlier that maca powder contains gluconosolates, and particularly these are goitrogens, and what these do is they can inhibit thyroid function. Particularly they can inhibit the iodine uptake by the thyroid. So if you have got hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's, or you've got very low thyroid, it's probably not best for you to take maca powder every single day. And in fact, studies have shown that maca powder can inhibit T3, which is your thyroid hormone 3, which is your active thyroid hormone. And so if you've got any conditions where your T3 is low already, you've got hypothyroidism, or you're taking thyroxine, it can inhibit thyroxine. But this might be good for people who have hyperthyroidism. This maca powder could possibly be good for people who have very high T3. So if you do have very high T3 and you've used it before and you've had really good results, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. Really love to hear from you. So we know that it's good for women in menopause. We know that it's good postmenopausally. It can be used when you've got amenorrhea. It can be used maybe in hyperthyroidism, not hypothyroidism. But if you do have hypothyroidism and you want to look at using maca powder because your symptom picture matches everything else, you're fatigued, you've got high cortisol, you've got low estrogen, what you can use is gelatinized maca powder. This is a form of maca powder where the starch has been broken down, and what they do is they then remove those anti-nutrients, and so it's safe for you to take. So when you're looking for a maca powder, look for that one. So adrenal fatigue, we know it can be used, particularly indicated if DHEA is low. We know it's very good with high adrenaline and high cortisol. Shouldn't really be used in polycystic ovarian syndrome unless you tested your hormones. Shouldn't really be used in endometriosis, again, unless you've tested your hormones and you know what is driving your endometriosis. It could more be autoimmune, it could more be emotional, other things going on. So test your hormones and then you can decide. Definitely in menopause, and use the gelatinized form if you have hypothyroidism. Definitely if it's good for coming out of illness, coming out of very chronic illness, if you've been very depleted. It's been shown to increase calcium, support bone health. It's been shown to increase iron as well. But just to summarize, it does increase estradiol. So if you're already estrogen dominant, it might not be right for you. It does increase testosterone. So if you've got polycystic ovarian syndrome or you've got high testosterone symptoms like acne or hair growth, it could exacerbate. It does increase progesterone. So if you know you've got super low progesterone and you're not at risk of any other issues, it can be good for that as well. Now, just on a last note, I do find that some people react differently to maca powder. So some women get good results, some don't. So some say it clears my skin up, others say it makes my skin worse. And if that's the case, then that is dependent on the hormone that's driving the skin issue. So if you've got bad skin because of hypothyroidism and you don't take the gelatinized form, then that could be flaring your skin up. If you've got bad skin because you're very sensitive and you've got very high androgens and you take the maca powder, and your skin is worse, and that shows that it's testosterone. But if you've got really super low progesterone and you're getting that kind of chin acne just before your period because of the low progesterone, then maca powder can be indicated. So my advice to you is check your symptoms, see what what is your menstrual cycle like, and that will give you a good indication of what your hormones are doing and if maca powder is right for you. But whatever you do, it should always be really great quality maca powder. It should be gelatinized form, and you don't want to be going over 2 grams a day, and you don't want to be taking it long term either. So it's just something short term to give you a quick boost and to support your energy, your hormones, and your libido. I hope you found that helpful. Please let me know, and if you have any questions about maca powder or anything else you'd like me to talk about, please pop in the comments below. So until next time, bye.